And the memory of 9/11 still fresh, especially for a local man who was there that tragic day.
That's right. 13 Action News reporter Leah Pizzetti introduces you to one of many first responders that day.
Yeah, that's right. Of those 3,000 killed, 400 of them were first responders. Many died running inside the towers to save people, and this local man was one of those who put his life on the line.
The whole side has collapsed?
The whole building has collapsed.
As America watched on TV, tragedy struck 18 years ago.
It was like Armageddon, apocalyptic. It was like the end of the world to us.
Terry Ravella saw it firsthand.
We were at war, and I knew that instantly as soon as I came out of the debris of the South Tower.
Ravella, who now lives in Las Vegas, was a captain for the New York State Environmental Police at the time.
I was responsible for dust suppression, debris removal, the decontamination efforts.
He has a stack of pictures. He says these have never been published, and they show the perspective he saw that day.
They have hundreds of photos here. Here's the collapse.
He was tasked with helping evacuate people from the South Tower when it came down.
I was in the B1 area, just below the mezzanine, directing people out of the trains when the South Tower collapsed around.
He and others were trapped inside the debris until a ladder crew saved them.
Just that helplessness feeling that you get. You know, why can't I help these people? That's what I'm trained to do, I'm supposed to do. That's what first responders do. And when you can't do that, then it's like your whole body shuts down and say, you know, where do I go? What do I do?
He then went to the next tower to help save people.
I was directly underneath the North Tower when it came down, but at Vesey and West Street, so I was off center of it. And a fireman comes running out from one of the fire trucks and he says, it's coming down. And he grabs me around the waist, and the next thing I know, both of us are being blown over a Jersey barrier.
Saved a second time. Then, in the days and weeks to follow, the focus shifted to rescue and recover.
Yeah, I survived both towers in one day. I consider myself a dual tower survivor. There's not too many of them. Most people didn't make it that day.
And for those who did survive, this painful memory will always stay with them.
It's the victims that were there that day, the survivors that have to deal with it every day. So I try to block it out as much as possible, but when I don't, I feel comfortable talking about it.
On every September 11th, Ravella makes a point to bring the memories back to life.
I want people to remember what happened that day as much as possible because it could happen again.
Looking through this stack of photos,
it brings back my memory exactly where I was and what I was doing that day.
Thinking of every life lost and how lucky he is to have survived. Now, Ravella says that as hard as it is to talk about that terrible day, he thinks it is important. So he actually does go around and share his story because he says the number one thing is just making sure it's always remembered.
Yeah, we can never forget that day.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that September 11th actually has been a celebration for him now.
Yeah, it's very special. He and his wife actually chose to get married 15 years ago on September 11th. So when I was at their home today, some roses were delivered, and they said they wanted to bring a little bit of light to such a dark day.
Yeah, we've heard that before. People sort of taking back that day.
Yeah.
Leah, thank you so much.